Welcome, guys, to my channel, Popcorn and Gore Gothic Grindhouse. We're going over a couple of my Halloween picks lineup and show a couple of my classic horror from the early 50s, 60s, and we're working our way back up to the early 70s. So we got first up, Classic Monsters, Universal. We got Dracula, we got Frankenstein, we got Wolfman, you got Bride of Frankenstein, you got Boris Koloff, you got Dracula's daughter. I mean, it's got about everything on here. You got The Mummy. These are some of the greatest classics that we grew up on watching when we were kids. And it's one big gigantic set. So I'm going to briefly go over a couple of what I got in my 31 days of Halloween lineup. For a little bit of popcorn and gore. So we got next up, we got Bela Lugosi's on the front cover. It's Dracula. Briefly done. And this is part of the Legacy collection too also. I pretty much collected half of them that they already had on here anyway. But I stopped buying them because I found out that they were just reprinting the same movies each year. So the reason why I just kind of got this one because it was him on the front cover, Bela Lugosi. So I had to get it. All right, so next up we have James Whale's joint featuring Boris Koloff as The Old Dark House. And this is a Region 2, so I have to get a Region 2 player to play this actually. So I had to have it, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go ahead and get it. This is another one of my picks that made it. And I'll go over some of the artwork too also. Alright guys, this is the booklet for The Old Dark House. This is one of my favorites. I'm doing a special tribute to it. And I'm a huge James Whale's fan and I love his production and the set was just amazing. So I just want to go through the catalog and show y'all a brief history of television. And this was called off. It's amazing, amazing set. I love that classic shot right there, especially when he opened the door. It was like, wow, I really love that. It was like you think he'd be let off to wake the dead, so they knock on the door and he comes to the door. It's like, wow. Talk about television history, man, it's like awesome. So this is one of my favorites that I run every Halloween. I start off with The Old Dark House. This goes on my collector's shelf anyway, because at the time they only had it in Region 2, so I had to just pretty much buy it. So I go back and get the second one, but the other one I have on streaming. So I like how he was carrying him around too. That was kind of funny after he picked him up, because he took him right back upstairs. This guy's been fighting to get out of the room the whole time. Then he gets out of the room and niggas drop on the floor and downstairs, and then they takes him back upstairs. This guy's running back and forth up and down the steps because there's some shit going on in the house. I thought it was really, really fantastic. These some of the keynote features of the set. I love her in this. She was pretty cool. And there's some of the poster artwork too also. I wish I can get this on the wall next. If I get this on the wall, I'll be really, really badass. Get an old poster of that. So that's what I'm working on now, getting that. Because I got room for this size to fit on the wall. It's just that I don't got no room for the 24s by 36, but this one I can get on the wall. Some more covered artwork. We all grew up watching all these things. And it's a tribute to me, too, also, especially for me being an independent film director. I'm really kind of behind the scenes on all the artwork and editing and screenwriting and all kinds of stuff like that, storyboard and all that kind of good stuff. So it's like James Whale's production has always been kind of like class A to me. It's no one of these films are icons. Legends of horror. He's funny too, also. Let me go back to that last one again. Because I think on that one, it was really, really cool because it was a part of the production that kind of made everything kind of like happen. Just to give you a little recap. That's a classic shot there. Awesome. All right, so next up we have some of my Mill Creek 50 packs. Legends of Horror. These are some of the features that are on here. Awesome. All the legends are on here. It's pretty awesome. So all these I rolled too from my Halloween 50 pack mega sets. And I normally run a 31-day treat, usually with a double bill. So I kind of take them apart and hook them up with other things. Like, for instance, I would take the lager and hook it up with Todd Slaughter's film, Jamaica Inn. And then I'll take another one, like, let's say, The Bat, and I'll hook it up with the 8-Man. So I'll do a double bill of it, of popcorn and gore cinema. Then there's another classics, 50 pack, too also. We got Lauren Chaney on the front as the Wonderful Man, Phantom of the Opera. And it's also a 50 pack bundle set. Show you guys what's on it. It's totally amazing. This is for the double. All right, so next up, everybody knows I'm a huge Barbara Steele fan. So we have Castle of Blood. Edgar Allan Poe's feature. I'm a huge fan of Barbara Steele. And next up, we have Terror Creatures from the Grave, which is another one of my favorites. So thank y'all guys for checking out my channel for all that retro gore, because I'm like really into like the gothic side of things, like more on the giallo. So I have a lot of movies, but I've been lately focusing on the gothic type stuff. So this is where my writing is now. I'm doing a screenplay story on my own feature. It's called Uncharted, and the first season pilot is going to be called Abandoned. and I'm doing a serious mini series on that. But we got Terror Creatures from the Grave, inspired by Barbara Steele. Then we got the beautiful Helga Lane in the Blancheville Monster. Pretty badass. The Blancheville Monster. Then we got next up, Barbara Steele, The Ghost. It's another one of my favorites too also. And I like how the Ghost of Geronimus, how he actually came back and he put their asses out of the house. And she's ended up in a transcendent affair with the gardener. And they end up being caught having sex inside of the garden. And he decides to bust him in the face with a cane and then tie them both up and have them set up for torture. So it's pretty cool. During his fiendish experiments, he was practicing medicine, and during the time he developed a dangerous curare, which paralyzes you, but in small dosage, it will render you where you could regenerate your limbs again. And she thought that he was pretty much just like worthless and pretty much not coming back, because of his health was failing. And the whole time he's practicing his chironomy. Beautifully done. And I like it, the middle part of it, it really leaves you in suspense. This is why I like Barbara Steele, because of her, first of all, her faces in these times of peril. Every time something happens to her, she has these looks that it's like so uncanny. And Barbara Steele, just one of my favorites. For my 31-day pick, Oktoberfest, The Ghost. Guess you guessed it next, guys. Nightmare Castle, which is another one of my fiendish ones too also. She has sex with him again, and they end up getting caught in the green room. And they end up together in the end, in death, which was kind of weird because she plays a lot of characters too also, Barbara Steele. She plays Muriel, and another one she plays another character where she disappears and comes back. So she's two characters in one in the same film, which is pretty cool. This is another, I would say, admirable effect when it comes to Barbara Steele's characters, where she can play two characters at the same time in the same movie, which is pretty cool. Nightmare Castle, Barbara Steele. All right, guys, next up, She-Beast, Barbara Steele. Another one of her classic moves to join the undead again, too. Also, where she's resurrected as a as a fiendish creature, and she does a pretty good job at it too. Also, when she transforms herself into a she-beast, and this is kind of weird because I think this is inspired by another film too. Also, and they just kind of took the script and just put it into Barbara Steele. I didn't get that much reviews as The Ghost and Terror Creatures from the Grave, but it still remains a classic in my featured vault. Barbara Steele, The She-Beast. And of course, next up we have Elvira, House on Haunted Hills. I will be having Vampira too also next, playing along with Elvira. So I'm going to start off with that too also. Paying tribute to Mary Norma, the first Vampira. And I'll be playing Plan 9 from Outer Space. So, we got Elvira's House on Haunted Hills. Then we got Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is another favorite of mine too also. I normally run this around the same time too also because I love that story writing stuff, and Mary Shelley does a fiendish job when it comes to writing a hell of a story. And it's about a love affair too also, which leads into an erotic and visualizing, shocking and stunning effective story anyway that unfolds literally in front of your eyes. So I kind of want to dance around the words. I don't want to give it away for some people who haven't seen it, but check it out. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is on my 31 days of Oktoberfest. Okay, guys, and next up, we have Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is another of my favorites too also. I went to see this in the movie a long time ago. I told the story on my previous video where I fell asleep in the actual theater and everybody was gone. I woke up and I was going to see a late night showing. This was like about 10 o'clock showing, I believe. And I was tired because I just got off work and man, I fell asleep in the theater. And when I woke up, everybody was gone. The lights was out and everything. So I woke up like, what the fuck? The screen was off. The lights were dim. I'm like, I get the fuck out of here. So I gets up and I goes running to the door. I open the door up and they're breaking down the concession stand. They looking at me like, what the fuck are you still doing here, dude? I'm like, what the fuck? So I fell asleep seeing Bram Stoker's Dracula. So every time I pull this out, it reminds me of that late night feature that I went to go see and actually fell asleep in the drive-in and was actually trapped in the theater. Going to see Bram Stoker's Dracula. This movie is long as hell, but it's good. So it's one of my favorites from my 31-day experience, Oktoberfest. Yep. There it is. All right, so next up we have Frankenstein, which is another one of my favorites too also. I'm still working on getting Scream Dracula Scream too also. So I can play this together with this. And so it's going to be on the same double bill as Scream, Dracula Scream, and Frankenstein. So beautifully done by Severin. All right, so next up, we have Vampires, another one of my favorites too also. Vampires is one of my favorites because it has a gothic twist to it too also, which y'all know I love. And because I'm trying to dance around my words without giving it away for some people who haven't seen it. So anyway, these two women go around hitchhiking and doing a lot of good things on the road and end up picking up men as dates, but then using them as for blood. So these two girls are amazing. And I've seen the behind the scenes of them making this, and they look like they had fun too also making this. So y'all guys get a chance, y'all got to check this out. Vampires. It's an erotic horror classic. It's reborn totally. And it's definitely uncut. It definitely has nudity and everything else, all the good stuff that you would have in a vampire flick. And I actually love it. Vampires. It's always going to be one of my classics, especially in my lineup when it comes to my Draculas and vampire films. And this is also a double bill with the rest of them too also. Dracula's daughter also plays along on this same reel. Then we have Gene Roland's films, Requiem for a Vampire, another one of my favorite features done beautifully by Redemption. Love the set, love the characters, and I love everything about Gene Roland's films, so you can't have a vampy fic without having Gene Roland somewhere in the mix. I'm also getting Living Dead Girl too also. I do have Fascinations. I do have The Grades of Death. And I do also have, I think it was after Fascination. It'll come to me in a minute. Because it's not the Living Vampire Girl. I think it's something else. It'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, we have Requiem for a Vampire. Gene Roland. Lips of a Vampire. That's what it is. Lips of a Vampire. Or Lips of Blood, I believe. That's what I'm working on getting next. So Requiem for a Vampire, one of my favorite by Gene Roland. For my 31 day. And then I have The Shiver of a Vampire by Redemption, beautifully done. And all these are my major popcorn and gore flicks. And I pull these out every time because they are my ultimate go-to Halloween lineup cast. And I also have a Christmas list too also that I normally play too also. But I definitely got to get some posters for Vampires on the wall, definitely. So The Shiver of a Vampire by Gene Roland's film. Beautifully done. Terror, One Step Beyond Horror. Guys, y'all got to see this. This is ultimate experience from the dark side, I believe. This is like the ultimate hell that you can go into. And it's beautifully done by a half-ass cantation that she thinks she takes Anne all the way through and tries to hypnotize her, but end up not working. And a ancient prophecy sort of possesses her and takes over her body, and it's beautifully done. Beautifully done. So y'all guys got to check it out. Terror. And this is also a double copy too. Also contains the Blu-ray and DVD. So it's a combo pack. All right, guys. So next up, we have the Corpse Grinders. You know, I'm a Tevye Michaels fan, as well as Al Adamson anyway. But Tevye Michaels is another one of my favorites as a film director. So we got the Corpse Grinders. I also have the Corpse Grinders 2 also. But Corpse Grinders 1 was my thing. So it's actually going to roll for the 31 day of my popcorn and gore cinema. The Corpse Grinders. What are you kidding me? That's a corpse. And they grind people up in the cat food. Well, they use Lotus cat food, and they grind you up, and they put you in a grinder, and they get you to buy the cat food for your cat. And once the cat eats the cat food, the cat end up eating you. Yeah. Beautifully done by Tevye Michaels, the Corpse Grinders. And then we also have a Grindhouse double feature, Carnival of Blood and Undertaker and His Pals, Gruesome Beyond Belief, double shock show. Carnival of Blood, I actually had hooked up with another one, because I see how this is how they had it rolling and they're driving anyway. But I got this Carnival of Blood hooked up with Carnival of Souls and Malatestis, Carnival of Blood. And then I have Undertaker and His Pals hooked up with a different film. I believe it's the I have the Undertaker and His Pals hooked up with Devil's Hand. Yeah, Devil's Hand. So that's what I have it hooked up with. That's a double feature. But yeah, we got Carnival of Blood. And that Dawson guy, he's funny too, because he's in there trying to be nosy and getting grinded up. He said, "We only serve fresh meat." He goes, "What do you mean? How come y'all guys never order any meat?" He says, "It's always vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. Y'all guys never order any meat." He goes, "Well, why should we have to tell you?" He goes, "Because maybe I ordered from someone else." He goes, "Well, every year, y'all guys order the same thing. And I come out here and I look in y'all freezer and I don't see anything." So he goes to look in the freezer, and then he puts an axe through his head and chops him up and has his ass grounded up for hamburger meat. And then he sells it to the people that comes in the to the diner, and says he has a special of the day, chicken. Oh Lord, that's funny. The other lady, they grinded her up and had her in as a leg of lamb. So I thought that was funny too. Also, the Undertaker and His Pals. So if you don't pay his price and you don't use him as his funeral service, and he had to come get you and does fiendish things to you. But Carnival of Blood is my favorite too, also because it consists of me going to the carnival as a kid, and plus I like the fact that they exploited the title very, very well, and they used all the features of because it looked like it was shot in Coney Island, and like they used all the features of what you would normally see in a carnival too, also as far as the back scene stuff, and I remind you of a horror fest gone wrong. So here be a double feature shock show, Carnival of Blood and Undertaker and His Pals. Next up, guys, we have Malatestis, Carnival of Blood, which is another one of my favorites. Same deal, which is they highlight heavily on the set to make it look really good. They actually did a lot of good job building some of the sets too, because I've seen the backstage reviews on it, footage, and then they had to build props and this tunnel that you go through and all this fabrics made out of plastic and stuff like that. So they did a really good job on the set. So Malatestis, Carnival of Blood plays behind Carnival of Blood. So I normally have these two as a double feature wheel. So this is what I normally have rolling. Then also Tevye Michaels, you also have Blood Orgy of the She-Devils, which is another one of my favorites too also. Same deal again. Tevye Michaels is an ultimate director when it comes to setting up the stage and getting that scare factor going on and leading you into a story. Madame Varner decides to exact her revenge on those who took vengeance out on her. And it ended up being the Blood Orgy of the She-Devils too also, which is my favorite. Tevye Michaels. So this would be Ted Michaels. It's a brilliant director. Brilliant. I have just about all his movies. Every last one. Awesome. 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 All right, so then we have next up, we have Cannibal Girls. Also one of my favorite features too, also starring Jean Levy. Same thing again. Erotic girls gone rogue and turned themselves into cannibals. It's beautifully, beautifully done. And here's some of the artwork on the inside. Beautifully done, Cannibal Girls. Artwork is amazing. So this is my go-to popcorn and gore cinema for my 31 days of Halloween. It also has a reversible artwork cover. Cannibal Girls. And also as a double billing, I also have Messiah of Evil, featuring the talented and gorgeous Anika Ford. Plus, they have the Sisters of Death. So it's like a double bloody feature. And on here, I normally have this hooked up with Cannibal Girls as a double featurette. So these two would be on a double bill rolling. And also we have up next Night of the Leapis, which is also one of my favorites too also. I got good reviews on this. I put it on my Facebook channel. Y'all guys get a chance to check out my Turf in the Basement Facebook channel. It's where my official home of my macabre is hosted. But on YouTube, I just do small videos, stuff like that. Because on here, it's like a lot of people hating on different people's channel and stuff like that. So I don't really take this YouTube too much seriously. But I try to stay honest for the people who respect the movies and who are on here just to make something out of this instead of just hating and turning this into who got what and who doesn't. This is like totally awesome. Let's see that this is going on. So anyway, Night of Leapis from our 31 Days of Halloween rolling. So I got massive good reviews for this. Night of Leapis. Also, guys, next up, Gorehouse Greatest Collections. Featuring Madmen of Rondeau, Trip with the Teacher, Satan's Slave, The Devil's Hand, Prime Evil, Dracula's Castle, Nightmare Wax, Terrorize, and Black Mania. And these are some of the lineups. Of Manor. And Stanley's on here too also. I'm not a fan of Stanley, but Stanley's on here too also. Let's show you guys what's on here. So I normally run this too for my 31 days of Halloween Gore Fest. So this will be the lineup for my 31 days of Halloween. So guys, thank you for checking out my channel. And if you like what I do, please click that subscribe button and let me know I'm doing something right. And as always, guys, Halloween is a very specific time for everyone where we all start to dress our house up and collect more gear for as media. But this year it's going to be a very, very special one because I'm actually writing my own movie. So I want to thank y'all guys for checking me out. And feel free to leave me some comments and subscribe. And as always, they're coming to get you, Barbara. See you in the drive-in.